Welcome to the ROI Masterclass, the podcast where vision meets strategy and bold moves create measurable results. I'm Liat Siegel, interior designer and ROI strategist with 17 years of experience. I help businesses transform properties and ideas into high-performing assets. This show is specifically for real estate investors, hospitality operators, and boutique developers who aren't afraid to take risks, challenge the status quo, and demand a return on every decision they make. Each and every week, we talk with innovators and leaders across industries about the strategies and the insights and really all the unconventional thinking that turns potential into profit every single time. If you believe that smart design, decisive leadership, and strategic risk are the keys to real ROI, you're in the exact right place. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the ROI Masterclass, the podcast where we talk with innovators, investors, and visionaries who are reshaping the future of real estate, business, and wealth with purpose and precision. I'm your host, Liat Siegel, and today I'm joined by Carl O'Neal and Matt Joffre of Full Circle Asset Recovery, a firm on a mission to reconnect people with what's rightfully theirs, from forgotten foreclosure funds to unclaimed bankruptcy and probate proceeds. Operating across 15 states and having recovered over $3.5 million in 2025 alone, Full Circle and their team are redefining what asset recovery can look like, blending legal expertise, skip tracing, genealogical research, and deep care for the people they serve. Today, we're digging into the insights, the hurdles, and the real stories behind reclaiming lost financial legacies and how they're bringing transparency and heart to the space most people never knew existed. Let's dive in. Thank you so much for being here. We finally made it happen. This has been a long time in the making. We actually met quite a few months ago and are working on some of your properties out in Puerto Rico. And we're talking about today about a different business, but it's all within the guides of ROI. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, definitely a long time coming. We're excited.
Leah, thank you for having us. My name's Carl O'Neal. This is my partner, Matthew Joffre. We have been friends for 15 years, business partners for the same amount of length. It was really glad to find you so we could work with you on the interior design piece. But now here to talk to you about, kind of what we feel is our baby, and something that's special in the real estate market that is often unforgotten or even unknown.
Right. So tell us a little bit about, your background. Give us some backstory, and then how you landed up doing what you're doing today.
So I've always been into the real estate game. We were building our company in the past. We had a company in Massachusetts. And throughout that time we were building that, I was and Carl were building our real estate portfolio as well. So we developed a lot of multifamily properties in the Northeast, over 20 doors. And then we made our way down to the Caribbeans a couple of years ago for some vacation rentals, which you're helping us with, as you know. And, throughout our time there, we really, we ended up having an exit from our company that I was telling you about. And after that, we really took that momentum into these new businesses. And we happened just through networking, happened to find this opportunity. It came across, our desk. Carl actually was the one who dived into it a little bit to see if it was actually something that could come to fruition. We tested the waters out for a couple, 3 months, 6 months, and we saw like this was actually real. We saw how many people we could help, and we saw that the return on investment, pun intended, was absolutely unbelievable. And it's a different part of the real estate market that you don't really hear about. It's kind of ancillary to the business because you're not selling real estate, but you're dealing with people who have lost real estate assets, and you're helping them get money back that was rightfully theirs, lost. And if most of them don't even know about it, and if they don't get any help, then it's absorbed by the government and it's kept for good. No lawyer can do anything about it. No one can claim it after the time limit has gone. So we're really here to help those people who need the help the most. They tend to be in a lower economic, social totem pole, right? They're in a tough position. They've lost property. They've lost their assets. And it's great for them. That's a breath of fresh air for them to have someone actually come in and help them and get back money that is life-changing a lot of the times. There's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that these people sometimes have no idea are there. So life-changing money, It could have been generational houses that were lost, and it's a bad time for them. So it's nice to come in and help the people who really need it.
Wow.
So we dove in once we saw the results, and we've haven't really looked back.
Being able to make money and then also feeling good about it and feeling like you're doing good.
Yeah.
No greater feeling in the world than that. And I'm sure you have. We were discussing before the show about the ROI, not just being the financial side of things, but also the people side of things. Can you speak to that a little bit?
I always like to say that we're doing well by doing good, right? So we're doing well for others by doing good for, we're doing well for ourselves by doing good for others, right? A lot of what our businesses are focused on, right? We've always liked to help people. We've always liked to be mentors. We've always liked to be leaders and again, help our friends and family, create this financial wealth and it's generational wealth, right? Just be able to build on this real estate. They don't tell you about what happens when you lose your real estate, right? When you don't pay your taxes. If you own the house and something happens to you, and if you don't pay your taxes for 3 years, they'll take it from you to pay the counties and the towns. So a lot of what we see from these counties and what's happening is we would think is criminal. Right, it's as fraud, and in most senses, we wouldn't think that it was normal.
This equity was earned, right? People purchased these homes. They with their hard-earned money, they free however many years they were operating in this home or living in this home. They put their hard-earned money into it. Sometimes it was family houses that were passed on, and if you don't pay your property taxes 1 year, it's 1 year, and they'll start sending you the letters. You'll get a 30-day notice, and eventually it'll be a lien against your asset, and the process is going to start. Now, sometimes that might seem like a little bit of money. 1 year that you can't pay could be 20, 30 grand, but there might be $200,000-$300,000 worth of equity in that home. So for the past, 100, 200 years, and the majority of the states in this country, if someone lost their home because they owed $20,000 or $30,000 or even $50,000, and it got taken and sold at a tax sale auction for, $200,000 more, it didn't matter who or what attorney or what person tried to get it. They had no chance. That excess money, that surplus fund amount went to the state no matter what. Now, the 15 states Carl was talking about, you mentioned in the intro, they've been friendly states. So it's not a guarantee that the people get the money back, but you have the opportunity to recover that money at least. Now, they still make it very difficult. It's very complex and nuanced, the paperwork involved. And they don't do much service to get out to you that you're even owed the money, because the system is incentivized not to fix it because they benefit from people failing. So if they're sending letters to the old property that was foreclosed on, that's their lip service that they have to do. Just legally say they tried to reach you. But that's the last known address that got foreclosed on. Nobody's living there. So these people never get these letters. And a year, 2 years go by, and this money is gone, absorbed by the government for good. Doesn't matter if it's $1 million or $1,000, nothing you can do about it. So that's what the criminal part, I think Carl's mentioning it, and that's the part that really gets us fired up because we think that's wrong. We know what's wrong. It doesn't sound right, and it doesn't feel right. And so when you can help somebody do it, there's no better feeling, because we've had situations where I'm talking about days away from being sheeted to the government. We got it filed and saved this family's case. Wow. So it's outrageous to me that this has been going on for so long and allowed, and it was normal practice. And a lot of families for generations have really been hindered by this. And unfortunately, they won't get any help. But fortunately, the people now, with these states that are opening up since the law has passed a few years ago, we can help as many people as we can possibly help now in all states.
I would like to just tell a good story, about a claim that, large claim, $225,000. We searched for this individual, couldn't really find a lot of information on him, public databases. We use the same software that debt collectors use, LexisNexis, TLO. So we do get a really good understanding of these individuals, and we find these individuals. The crazy part about this one is this individual was being housed by the state, not for any legal matters, but because they have a mental illness. They are mentally incapacitated. Long story short, we saw that the grandmother and the mother had passed away on the same day.
Wow.
So we're like, some kind of tragedy must have happened.
Yeah.
So me and the attorney, we found a private investigator. We paid in a private investigator to do some more digging because the guy that we use has been in business for about 40 years. And he's in the past been tasked with finding over 600 heirs for an insurance company, and he found every single one. So needless to say, he's really good at discovering the heirs of individuals. So in this case, he found Jay. His name was Jason, but he couldn't find where he currently lived. So I worked with the attorney that we work with in Maryland, John Houlihan, just doing a little bit more digging, doing some again, arrest reports, stuff like that, just seeing anything we could find. John found a current address of him. It was a group home for the mentally incapacitated. We reached out to the program director. We told him who we were looking for. We told him why we were looking for him. The program director eventually set up a nice meeting between us and the attorney. Jay is mentally incapacitated, but he can speak for himself. So he was very excited to hear from us. He told us what had happened in his home. It was during COVID times. They hadn't seen anybody for 2 weeks. A neighbor knocked on the window because they seen the TV on. The police went into the home. Jason was in there with his family members incapacitated. They took them out. They took him out. He also had COVID. And they had a hearing June 7th to take the funds. We signed with him June 5th.
Wow.
So, these cases and these scenarios, they don't happen without intervention from individuals like us. Right.
Yeah, and what happened was with Jay was his grandmother and his mother passed away. They were his primary caretakers. So once they passed away, kind of everything that was being taken care of went to the side. No one was taking care of the bills. No one was, of course, paying the property taxes. He's mentally disabled. So no one was there to help anymore. So the house eventually got seized and foreclosed on. And that's why he got sent to the state to live with state living. And like Carl said, days away from this money being gone. And he had no one there to help. He had no other family members. No one knew about the money. We were barely able to find him in time for this. Wow. And if we were a couple days late, the state's keeping all that money. And now he's able to go live on his own, buy his own place, have in-care living, life-changing money. When I tell you these stories, they really are crazy. And it's just unfortunate, that his caretakers passed away, but that it happens. And then there's no one left to take care of these responsibilities that other people were aware of, and then it happens thousands and thousands of times throughout the country every single month.
Wow.
That's just one story.
It's so sad.
And when it comes to ROI, obviously our firm, we get a percentage from claiming these funds, right? Because we're not finders, right? And typically finders are kept to a certain percentage. We're a part of the recovery process because we are hiring the attorney on your behalf. We are doing a lot more before we even found you. Right. I've done all this research to even get to this point to get to you. I paid $750 to even find Jason's name and again and how things happened. So, we really
there's hours and hours of research before we even pick up a phone to dial anybody. We've done extensive title research, debt verification, and background research on every claimant. We know there's a lot of people in this industry who buy third-party lists, use third-party skip tracing. They get a list and they just scroll down the number and they just blast people like a call center. We don't do anything like that. We do things very differently. We use the best attorneys, and we're doing the title research, debt verification, and background research ourselves on every single case before we even pick up a phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because we're not trying to waste anybody's time.
You're doing it, not only do you care, but you're doing it in a way that you care. Like as if it was your own property.
Well, think about this, right? This is people's livelihood. This is their family's estates. The last chance of people who had something, lost it, and there's still a little bit of light left in the door. You owe it to each client to be the most prepared you can and use the best expertise of the legal side that you can to help them. Like, don't do this business if you're not going to help these people out the best way you can, right? That would be unfair to them.
Right.
I'll also give you another example. Today, I was talking. I sent my attorney the name of a potential claimant. He does. We all have our own different skip tracing, and again, that's why I use different individuals to help us. And this woman that I'm looking up, her estate has over $800,000 in it, and it's the school board is trying to escheat those funds to them because they can't. There's no linear descendants.
Yeah.
Again, so now I've had my private investigator go back to 1844 now to do her whole family tree. So now we can find a second or third cousin to now get them those funds. So now just imagine being on the other side, right? And getting that phone call. How do we now build trust with these individuals, right? Yeah. With all the scams that are happening nowadays, right? With all of the data breaches that are continuously happening, right? You know, I can't. The problem with the thing with our business, but we don't have a product to sell. We have to make sure these individuals trust us, right? So it's combining the knowledge with the truth and the facts that, listen, these funds are going to be forever gone if somebody doesn't claim them.
Yeah, and we know a lot of the time people can go do it on their own. You know, they ask that. Sure, you can try to, but like I said, it's very nuanced and niche. We have the attorneys in place that are experts in this industry. We've actually helped them get to that point. We're experts, and we get a lot of our business from failed attempts of people trying to collect this money as well. Because, you know, an attorney is going to say, "Oh yeah, I know probate, I can get this done." The paperwork's complex. It's much different than normal cases, and that's fine, right? We tell people the truth. We're very transparent, but it's much better for them that we explain what we're doing, how we've done it, so they know that our success rate is, you know, almost 100%.
Yeah. Like, I mean, even with design, many people can go and just do it themselves, and that's totally fine. But sometimes the results, when you have an expert that's doing it, that's on the team, that has your best interest at heart, truly, from their heart, and they're doing it with that expertise in mind, the results are, you know, so much better than anything else doing it yourself.
Yeah. And let's say they're going to have to petition the court. You have to hire an attorney. So then you're coming out of pocket for a retainer. That attorney might not know what he's doing. You're finding him from, you know, probably Google or a friend that you might know who's a family lawyer. So there's just a lot of wasted opportunity, you know, that you could just be putting yourself in. And we explain that pretty well to our clients. And, you know, we don't really have too much pushback, honestly. Most of the time, once we get through that layer where everyone's a little skeptical, because of course we're calling you and I'm saying, "Hi, we have $80,000 that's owed to you." You know, I mean, come on. Yeah. Everyone at first is going to be like, "Get out of here." So you gotta hit them with the facts. You gotta break down that barrier, and then just explain yourself with the knowledge and the expertise. And we're providing the service. We're putting up all the money. There's no risk to them. We put the money up for the attorney. We do all the background legwork. We've already put hours into their case. So it's really no risk to them at all.
Wow.
I would say, you know, some of these smaller claims are harder than the bigger claims. Yeah. You know, somebody who's owed $12,000 is harder to talk to than somebody that's owed $200,000, right?
It's funny.
I'm telling you, it's because, you know, there's these people all think they can do it themselves, which they absolutely can. But the reality of it, are you going to, right?
Yeah.
You've already known about these funds. Why haven't you gotten them in the 2 years that has elapsed since you can get them? I was speaking with the woman yesterday. She gave me, I thought she was going to hang up on me every 2 minutes, but we talked for 17 minutes. And, you know, she told me that she was going to do it herself. She didn't want to pay the fee. And that's fine. Everybody doesn't want to pay your fee. As an interior designer,
we're just as happy if as long as you're going to get the money, we're happy. Just don't let the state keep it, because they're not fixing any potholes, right? So at least you go get it.
Leah knows, as an interior designer, people always want to judge your work or judge how your service may be. And it's like, listen, guys, we've seen people go up to try to get this themselves and be denied off of simple clerical errors, simple just procedural errors, because with court, right, they follow all procedures regardless if you're an attorney or not. Matt and I, we send letters out, right? So we call, we send letters. You know, we've gotten so many calls back, like, you know, listen, I've tried to do this myself. I need your help. You know, so they understand that the money that they're spending to get the service done, they're obviously on the back end is worth it for them. You know, so
what a good feeling to know that you're doing good.
Yeah. It's amazing. We get like a seller's high every time we close a deal. It's like you feel amazing.
There was this woman. She's an older woman. We talked for 2 months. And she was so sweet. At the end, in the beginning, she was so mean. You know, just imagine your grandmother just seeing just a stranger, like, no, get away from me. You know, she was so mean in the beginning, and then at the end, she was like, Carl, you know, please just give me a call in a few months and follow up with me. I know that we don't have any, you know, relationship. We don't know each other besides this, but I really appreciate what you've done for me, you know? Wow. And it reminds me of my grandmother, you know, of my family. We lost our house in a similar scenario. Wow. You know, my grandmother got dementia. She had to live in an assisted living. She lived right behind a church. They owned that home for 40 or 50 years. There was not that much left on the note. Again, my family didn't know. I didn't know. I was young at the time. We lost the home. We didn't get any equity from the home. We didn't get anything that was.
There's no chance. Massachusetts wouldn't even allow. You know? There's no opportunity.
So for us, this is it's not just an obviously ROI and money is obviously what we love to do, but it's a heartfelt thing for me because I can connect with this. Yeah. You know, really truthfully. You know what I mean? Like it's not. We can put ourselves in their shoes really well and understand what they're going through. So when they're being hard to deal with, we get it, right? We get it. You've been through the ringer. We don't mind. We're still going to be there. We're going to call back and we're going to try to help. Right. Patience and genuine care, I think, prevails every single time. People can smell. I think that's, you know, part of the people-centric businesses, right, that end up making more money and that are more profitable. People can tell when somebody's genuine or when they're looking to just make money. Right. Just doing it for, you know, like for fakes, you know? Right. And I think that is the biggest driver of ROI in our world today is, you know, they have a BS meter. And, you know, if their BS meter is going off and they're saying, no, this is not okay, then they're not going to buy with that person. They're not going to trust them. They're not going to have the like trust factor. Right. Real quick, and you feel that, like you said, you can smell it really quick. So you got about 5 seconds tops before someone has that their radar is like really dinging at the top, right? Yeah. So you got to just come in with knowledge, facts, and expertise. Yeah, they call it the 3, 30, and 3 rule, right? You have 3 seconds. Yeah. Capture their attention, right? 30 seconds to engage them a little more, and then 3 minutes to win them over. Yeah, I mean that's kind of pretty much how it happens. Yeah. Sales 101. We were training somebody yesterday, and again, it was his first rodeo, and it's okay because to win you have to fail, right? It's part of success, right? He was doing good, and then he's new, so his knowledge wasn't all there, and you don't have the rebuttals that, you know, you hear the wife saying, hang up. And the husband was like, he was a little intrigued, but he was like, all right. And then he hung up. So and they gave him a couple extra few seconds, honestly. Yeah. He did. He gave him, and I was like, all right. Well, we'll call him back. We'll get him back on the phone. Of course. It's persistence. It's just like with anything that's great. It's not going to be overnight. This is a follow-up business. We make a lot of money. The returns are great. We help people get a lot of money back. That's even better. But we'd be nothing without following up. This if you think you're just going to get it on the first call, like maybe once in a blue moon, but this is a major follow-up game. You got to be on point with all that. The money's in the follow-up. I think there's some sort of saying. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but the money is in the follow-up. Oh my God, yeah. And it's the touch points, right, of the customer journey
in every industry, whether it's your industry, in asset recovery or in the management of Airbnb units, customer journey at every single touch point, you need to follow up with them and let them remember you and have that continuity, that brand continuity, for that trust.
You got to give them the experience of your business, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And who you are and what you stand for. So through everything that you guys have done so many different businesses and have had a lot of success and failures in your career. Was there a specific challenge or turning point that changed the way that you operate, that you lead and run business today?
Well, I think I can speak to someone quick, right? I think you learn real quick when you hand over responsibility to someone else. Like, let's say you hand someone you want to invest with somebody and you don't have any control over it. You realize real quick that like your fingerprints have nothing to do with your money coming back or not, right? And I think that was after a couple times of that, you learn real quick. I just want to bet on myself. If I'm going to bet on something, I need to be able to control it. And we're confident in the way that we think, that we know that we can bring people along with us who have their same mind state and passion as us for specific industries.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me was after we had our first exit, and I told Matt and I told the whole team that I wanted to do Alabama, and we did it. It was a really huge time crunch, and we made it happen. And I saw that, and I was like, you know what? I can really execute whatever I put my mind to. As long as I have the network, I have the team, I have the goal, right, and we have the budget essentially. We made it happen. Just like in the first in the exit, and just like in this business, right? Matt hit it on the head. I think one of the things that we realized was investing with other individuals outside of ourselves really hurt us, right?
Yeah,
when we started to take control of our destinies more and more, because that's what we've always done. We saw that we had a much better trajectory. We were making much more ROI, right? But giving our money to individuals who essentially weren't proven in their field, right, for over 10 years, it gave I would say even over 5 years, it wasn't the same return as us digging our heels in the sand, our feet in the sand, digging our feet in the sand and really, committing to just getting things done and executing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just having control is huge for us, I think, and helps us be. I like to be the one steering the ship, or obviously not by myself, with partners. But you know what I mean by that.
I think that was one of the first things that really impressed me about you guys in our initial conversations was the skill set to be able to hire a team of people, like of high level people, bring them together in order to execute. To know that yes, you have that control, but at the same time, to know who to bring together in order to make it happen and to succeed at that venture. And in so many different ways. I mean, you guys have had many different businesses over the years and had great success. So I think it comes back to that, right? Having a strategic team at the table, the right team that are experts in their own right, in order to drive the business forward into your ultimate vision of how you want to see it grow.
Right. Yeah. I think that's one of our biggest talents, is being able to put teams together.
Networking. I mean, I think that's my gift among everything else. Being able to meet the right individuals. See how I met you. I met your husband. Just like I met Matt, right? Like maybe however many years ago. I think that my ability to meet people that have like-minded energy, right? So that we can execute on things is huge. Again, Matt and I's, always the biggest thing why we want to have control is because we can execute. And I know that other individuals have different ways of executing, and they might not match with the same goals that I have, right? So I think that, execution is the largest. And then again, the being able to network with in these spaces and know that I can't do everything. Alex Hermosi just had a post the other day about hiring the right people and working with the right people, right?
Yeah.
Matt sent that to me, you know.
It's very true.
Steel sharpens steel, right? You're never going to get the best team if you're trying to pay the cheapest for the team, and that's a reason why we've in this business haven't scaled more rapidly, because we are trying to stay down, close as many deals together as we can, keep all the money in-house so we don't have to go out and give out equity, right? And now we are truly in control of our own destinies, right? I can't tell you, if you've never had an investor calling you, asking you when they're going to get their money back, right? I know that you don't know the feeling, right? Because again, we're committed to what we always say, doing what we're saying we're going to do, not just with our customers and our clients, but with our investors, our family, our friends. It's all full circle, pun intended.
Yeah, and I think the proof's in the pudding. We're a handful of days away from Q2 being over, and we're almost at 5 million in revenue in closed deals this year. So we're just scraping the tip of the iceberg here. And we're really looking forward to strap in the rest of the year.
Amazing. Well,
and he says 5 million because I'm barking down the door. I have a $1.2 million close that I closed today out of New York.
Wow.
First official close. I appreciate you helping me look for an attorney.
First official close in New York for us.
In New York for us. Yeah. And then we're barking down the door for this $800,000 plus close. So altogether, that will be 5 million in Q2. I know for us, our accounts receivable is a lot different, right? Our checks come in every 90 to 120 days because of the courts. If you've ever had to do anything in court, you can relate to this.
Yeah, they swim at their own pace.
But it's all good, because as long as our pipeline is very strong, and it's great. All the big deals are great. They sound sexy, but we like to say base hits wins games. And then when you do hit a home run, it just makes it that much better. The bases are loaded at that point.
Right. It's gravy.
So we don't discriminate against sizes of deals. We go after them all. We help everybody out. But it is nice to talk about some of these bigger deals. It's a lot funner, right?
Yeah.
We do have a threshold. We try to go after and everything over 10,000. There's a ton of these smaller deals. Hopefully when we have our proprietary AI that we're in the midst of building, we started with the wrong developer. So we have another developer finishing it up. But we'll be able to hit those smaller scenarios, but we pay our attorneys pretty well. So anything under $10,000 doesn't really bode well for us or our attorneys. And those are who we're trying to make the most
financially. It doesn't make sense to go much under there, and we know a lot of people in this industry don't even go near those ones. So we don't mind. We like to help everybody, especially once we have the manpower. Why not? We would do less if we could. It just doesn't make sense financially for us. Right
at this point. Yeah, at this point for sure. So when you optimize, when you think about ROI in your world, what would you say is the number one thing that you're really optimizing for, in like just a few words, in the whole scheme of what you're doing? We would like to have, we're working on the system Carl mentioned, so that AI system will help us have the manpower to be able to help the entire nation. So I guess we're looking to optimize so we can go nationwide here and help as many people as possible. Long story short. Amazing.
Help as many people as possible, and then connect the government systems, right? Because obviously these are all rogue systems that are all taken care of by everybody else in government.
Each county has its own system, its own process, its own time frame.
If we could create the uniform platform for all these governmental systems, right? Obviously handled by different system, people, but just a centralized place, it would be great. It would be amazing.
Yeah, there would be no one left behind. There would be no fallen people that were forgotten about, and the money just gets absorbed somehow, some way.
And I want to just to break this down. It's not just individuals that we're going after; it's businesses.
Yep.
It's the bankruptcy courts, right? So if you file for bankruptcy and you had excess proceeds within 2 years of that bankruptcy, who's owed the funds? The bankruptcy court. So we reach out to the bankruptcy court trustee. right? We tell them about the funds. Well, we don't exactly disclose because then they wouldn't need to hire us. And then we work with them. So we're official finders.
They're at the point where they understand. They'd rather use us to make it easier for them anyways.
Mm-hmm. Some attorneys are older and they don't like finders, right? Then there's also Medicaid. So if somebody passes away and, they were on governmental assistance, these aren't indexed as well. So in every state, there's somebody that's left behind, be it a creditor, be it an individual, be it the courts. There's somebody that we can work with to get these funds back. Again, be it an heir, right?
Yeah.
Say that there's money in the probate court that's just left for an heir because they can't find somebody. Again, that's where we come in and to help. And a lot of these funds come from real estate. We might, in Massachusetts, we have unclaimed funds. Maybe in New York, they have an unclaimed fund division, but nobody's reaching out to you to give you that money back, And if they do, you're super skeptical.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
until you send them this podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing. So if there was one takeaway for our audience, that a tip of what it would take to succeed and win, what would your one tip be?
Consistency. Continue to be consistent and continue to build whatever pipeline you have, be it at work, be it at whatever brokering in real estate sales, construction, anything that you're doing. Just be consistent and create that pipeline of deals. It's the same way through on every business.
One more call, one more rep in the gym, one more of something that you're doing, and you're going to be fields ahead of everybody else who stops when they're supposed to stop, or one before that. We go one more at least every single time on everything.
Amazing. It was such a blast having you guys here. I think we should have you back to talk about the transformation that we're going to do together for your Airbnb rentals in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Talk about that transformation and how we're going to create ROI there as well. But for the meantime, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
All social platforms. We are on all social media platforms. You can send us an email at info@fullcircleassetrecovery.com. Full Circle Asset Recovery is on every handle we have. Matt, if you want to give your personal, because I know he's more consistent on the social media than I am.
Yeah, so we're on Instagram, Facebook. We even have a Twitter. Our website is our new one's actually live as of yesterday. It looks great. It's fullcircleassetrecovery.com. Like Carl said, our handles are all the same. We also, if someone's interested in learning more about this business, they can reach out to us as well too. And we do offer mentorship and training to come work with us and help us close deals.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. It was such a pleasure having you and speaking to you as always. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Awesome.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.